Hey everyone, Matthew Monas here, and today I'm at the MSI booth at CES 2024. Thank you MSI for partnering on this video and getting me out here because there's a couple of nice products that we have to talk about. And Andy, who's from MSI, is going to be kind enough to walk us through everything because there is a lot. Now obviously the most talked about one is the Claw. Yeah. So it looks pretty good, and it's doing something a little different compared to the competitors.
Yeah, I would say the biggest difference of this new gaming handheld compared to our competitor is the processor inside.
Right.
Well, it's the world's first gaming handheld using the Core Ultra processor.
Yeah.
We have two versions, Core Ultra 5 and also the Core Ultra 7. And thanks to the hugely performance boosted art graphics, of course, you can have smooth gameplay across those AAA game titles. And besides that, there's one thing you should know about it. This model also features the largest 53 watts battery in the field. So according to our internal test, when you play the Forza Horizon 5, it can provide up to 2 hours of the battery life compared to our competitors, which can only last about 1.5 hours.
Yeah. So 53 watt hour battery, we have a Thunderbolt port on the top, so you can connect a external GPU, or you guys have a dock available as well.
Yes.
Micro SD. Power button, if you want to upgrade this, it's an M2 2230. The display is 1080p. It does support variable refresh rate, 120 Hertz as you mentioned. It looks pretty bright. Obviously it's hard to tell until I run a calibration test, but it looks bright enough, especially with the lights coming down. The controls feel good. I like the fact that there's a curved back, so it feels nice in your hands. Lots of holes on the back for cooling, which is great. A couple of triggers over here. And do you know what kind of joysticks these are?
The Hall effect.
Hall effect, okay, cool. Now this is the MSI Titan 18HX. Like, this is their most powerful laptop that they're currently offering now. Potentially maybe the most powerful laptop of 2024. We'll have to see. But the one thing that really, truly stuck out to me was this touchpad. At first I'm like, oh cool, it has RGB, right? But no, this is not like your regular everyday touchpad. This is a haptic touchpad, and the entire bottom base is made out of glass. And I just wish more PC vendors put haptics in their touchpad. So like, if you really wanted one, this is the laptop to get it. So this is the behemoth. What comes with it?
Oh my God, you can expect everything on this one because you know Titan 18 got the largest vapor chamber ever. So that's the reason why it can push the latest i9 4900HX processor with the 200 watt PL1 power, or it can provide up to 270 watt of power that can be shared by the CPU and GPU. But in the meanwhile, we'll keep those traditions you can find on the former Titan, like the mechanical keyboard, core memory slots, triple M.2 slots, and yeah, basically it's a beast.
Yeah, no, it's massive, and I love the fact that I'm assuming this is mini LED lights for the RGB.
Exactly.
And then you have the option to buy with a mini LED display.
Yes.
Right? So up to 4K, you said?
4K, 120 Hertz mini LED.
And you said it's the first 4K display.
18-inch.
18-inch. 4K mini LED display.
Yeah.
You do have lots of ports though. 2 USB on the left, SD card slot, and then on the right,
two Thunderbolt 4 ports.
2 Thunderbolt 4 ports.
Yeah.
Then you have another USB port.
Yeah.
And then on the back you have
for all those thick cable like LAN, like HDMI 2.1. So yeah.
It's all
easy board cable management.
Now you might hear the fans in this because they are running HW info in the background right now and testing it. So I'm assuming this is the loudest it's going to get when it's being pushed. But I'm sure there's like a custom fan option to like crank up the fans if you want.
Because right now we're stressing the CPU to showcase the PL1 200 power.
Actually, this is a good idea to touch it. So let me see. The keyboard is warm, but it's not hot, which is good. That's what you want, right? You don't want a hot keyboard. A little hot up here, which is standard because the venting is on the back. But like, this has been on all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day.
All day.
At least for 8 hours.
8 hours, and it's still working, so that's a good sign. Third up is the Crosshair and the Sword, which we'll talk about in a second. And this is more of a mid-range laptop, new design by MSI, and based on the materials, you have an aluminum lid, which I think looks pretty classy. You kind of have like a gamer design, but it's not like too overbearing like some other laptop products on the market. And of course, this is a 17-inch laptop, but there's also a 16-inch available.
Yeah.
Right. So what type of processors inside of here?
The 14Gen HX processor. So we have both the i7 and also the i9 available. But I would think the mass shipment will be around the i7 4700HX.
That makes sense, especially for the price point, right? So up to an RTX 4070.
4070.
105 watts, you said? TGP?
140.
140 watts.
140 watts.
The Sword is 105. We'll get to that soon. And then you have are they QHD displays standard?
Yeah, for QHD is the optional. Basically, we'll have the Full HD, which is 1200p for the regular shipment.
Okay, and then up to 240 hertz,
Yeah.
right? And then you have, and this doesn't have a vapor chamber. This is just a
Regular heat pipes.
regular heat pipe.
5 heat pipes, dual fans.
Dual fans, cool. And then of course it's customizable RGB.
Yeah,
per key.
24 zone RGB.
24 zone
24
RGB.
zone, yeah.
And then, of
Basically
course-
can provide similar light effect to those per key RGB things.
Right, right. And then you have, of course, the WASD keys, which have a little bit of a different color.
Yeah,
so, you know, if you're
exactly.
right-handed, not good for me, the left-handed gamer, but that's fine. Now, if you want something a bit more affordable to the Crosshair, there's the Sword. It also too comes with a 16-inch or 17-inch option, and it does come with a 14th gen processor.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
up to
i7 4700HX.
Okay,
Or
and-
maybe for the i5.
i5. Okay,
yeah.
and 4070.
4070 and also 4060, but with 105 watt of TGP.
So TGB is a bit lower.
Yeah.
Up to a QHD display, 240 hertz, like it says over there.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you kept it a 16 by 10 display.
Yes, exactly.
IPS, obviously.
Also.
Also 24 zone RGB.
Exactly.
Which
But
is
we
good.
also have the 4 zone for optional, for
Optional.
more budget value.
More budget value. I mean,
Yeah,
like, do you
yeah,
really need that extra RGB? I don't know. It depends if you want to go faster in racing, right? Or look cooler.
More
right?
RGB faster, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you got the Cooler Boost 5, which is 2 fans on the back, 5 heat pipes, 6 exhaust. I'm just reading this. I don't know what I'm talking. I'm just reading right there. And so you have everything you need. And then of course the design is a little bit more simple. It doesn't have like the etching that the Crosshair has.
Yeah.
But personally, I think it looks cleaner. So it really depends on your budget and if you want a different look. So this laptop kind of caught my eye. It's the Cyborg 14. What makes this different than other 14-inch laptops?
I would say this is the world's first entry 40-inch game laptop. So the starting price of these things is only $99 US. And it's also one of the lightest 40-inch gaming laptop, about 3.5 pounds. So I would say it's still quite portable for those, especially students. Yeah.
Yeah. So what makes it good for $999 is the fact that you're getting an i7 13th gen processor, but it's a RTX 4060. So usually if you want a 4060, you got to look for stuff from last year. But now that you can go ahead and buy a brand new laptop for that price point, which I think is going to be like a good steal for a student who wants, you know, a little bit of gaming power for the work during the day and then gaming at night. Now, obviously, you have one color RGB. Can you change
Yes,
okay,
one
so you
color
can't change
RGB.
the color on that.
Yeah.
You said the display is 1920 by 1200, so 16 by 10.
16 by 10, upgradable RAM, SSD, and of course, one of the fewest 40-inch gaming laptop having the dedicated LAN.
Yeah,
RJ45.
dedicated LAN on the back over here.
Yeah.
I also like the translucent
Yeah.
bottom. I think that kind of gives it a cool little look. In terms of ports, it looks like you have a USB 3.2 port, combo audio jack, and then on the other side you have another USB port Type-C.
Support DisplayPort output?
This is not Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have HDMI, I'm assuming 2.1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you have your power connector. So that wraps up the MSI laptop tour for CES 2024. I'll be doing as best to get as many of them into the studio as possible. So make sure you sub to the channel so you don't miss that. As usual, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.